Sometimes it could feel like modern dating is hopeless. I mean, you hear it constantly on social media, on podcasts, and from your friends. There's no hope for finding a partner in modern society, and we're all doomed to fail and die alone. Or at least that's what the common message is these days. It's hard to meet people, it's hard to connect with people, it's hard to approach people, it's hard to say the right things, it's hard to know what you're supposed to do, you don't want to get canceled for saying the wrong thing, you don't want to look stupid, you need more Instagram clout, and the list goes on and on and on. But I think many people are looking at this the wrong way, and your interpretation of the situation is what's causing dating to feel so futile. And I think there's a way to fix it. So let me explain what I mean by this. I'm actually no longer single for once, and have met what I can only describe as the girl of my dreams. And you know when I met her? When I stopped caring and stopped trying. That's the irony. I know, it sounds stupid, counterproductive, and stereotypical, but I promise that there will actually be some value here once we get into it. I spent years trying to find the girl for me. I did all of the things that I thought I should do. I was on dating apps. I bought Tinder Premium. I know, what a loser. I was looking presentable and dressing nice and smelling good and hitting the gym occasionally and asserting my dominance and all the stupid stuff that you hear people like Andrew Tate talking about online. And guess what? I was still alone. I rarely got matches on dating apps, and when I did, it was like talking to a wall. In fact, I think my dog could have better conversations than the stuff I experienced on Hinge, and she doesn't even speak human. It just felt so empty and meaningless, and I started to lose hope. And after years of trying, I gave up. Not saying I became all doomer and thought that all hope was lost. I just decided that it wasn't worth my time and started focusing on other things. I focused on my work and picked up some new hobbies like DJing, reading, and getting into coffee. I know, kind of pretentious, but I enjoyed it. I kind of thought that dating was a lost cause and just figured, you know what, I'm gonna do what I genuinely want to do and not live my life so that I could attract girls. Because that tends to happen when you're single. Instead of hitting the gym to look good for some random girl that I probably won't even meet, I went because it made me feel amazing. I started reading interesting books and listening to interesting podcasts, not so that I had fun facts to share with people that I may or may not go on a date with. I did it to expand my knowledge, learn new things, and entertain myself. I saved the money that I was spending on stupid nights, standing around at the bar and pretending like I was going to talk to girls even though I never did, and used it to go on a trip to Greece and Croatia, which, believe it or not, was not as expensive as you would think. I started living my life for me, immersed myself into the moment, hung out with friends without caring if women were there or not, and worked hard on what I was doing. I put my head down and just lived my life the way I normally should have been. And after a year of not caring about dating, I noticed something. I was becoming a more interesting person. I was becoming pretty passionate about my new hobbies. I was learning a ton of new information. I was in pretty decent shape. My Greece and Croatia trips gave me cool stories to tell, like how we hitchhiked in rural Greece at 3 a.m. and explored the town where King's Landing was filmed in Game of Thrones. And I was doing all of these things for me, and nobody else. And guess what? Now that I was becoming more interesting, I started to stand out. See, one of the problems with modern dating and its heavy emphasis on the internet is that it makes it kind of hard to stand out. Instead of learning about someone through mutual friends or seeing them in public, all you get is a 2-sentence bio and some still photos that were curated and photoshopped to look as good as possible. Photos that were staged to potentially attract someone. It's all signaling, and that's the irony of all of it. Nothing that you see on these apps or on social media is real life. It's girls curating their profile to try to seem as interesting as possible, and guys doing the exact same thing, but for girls. It's all this stupid, superficial game where nobody's actually learning about each other, nobody's actually connecting with each other, and it's all just signaling to try to attract someone. Everyone on dating apps seems so interesting, but in reality, it's all a facade, and it's full of lies to try to attract people of the opposite sex. So, these people all seem so interesting, but once the conversations begin, nobody's actually interesting. It's all fake. So, conversations on dating apps die out, people project their dating app failures onto real life, and then next thing you know, nobody's talking to each other and everyone has lost hope. But when you spend time becoming more interesting, building new hobbies, finding your passions, exploring the world, learning a new skill, you actually stand out among a sea of posers. And when you stand out, you're setting yourself up for success. See, this is what I'm saying. If you could build your foundation on authenticity, you're more likely to attract a girl. At least if you're looking for a girl. If you're looking for a guy, honestly, it's the same thing. Regardless, dating works out a lot better for you if you're authentic, and these dating apps basically encourage you to not be authentic. So instead of constantly chasing dating from a perspective of, oh, I have to do what I have to do and I really hope this works out, you should just be authentic with what you truly are, and it'll actually work out better for you in the long term. Sure, there's still the massive obstacle of finding the person that you want to actually connect with, but when you're on a path of your own and you're genuinely enjoying that path, things just seem to fall into place. It's kind of weird. Because you're living your authentic life, the people that you do randomly connect with are more likely to actually get along with you and see you for who you are, because you're not pretending to be someone else. But I will say, there's a paradox here. You can't try to become a more interesting person in order to become more successful in dating down the line. Doing that defeats the entire purpose and puts you back at square one. So you need to genuinely find things that make you happy and pursue them for your own selfish motives. You need to genuinely want to become a better version of yourself. Then, once you craft yourself into the person that you want to be, you'll find someone else who also wants that person. Do you really expect someone to want to date a person that isn't even happy with themselves? That isn't living an authentic life for themselves? I mean, when you really break it down, it makes sense. So stop focusing on doing things to make other people attracted to you. Find a way to channel your motivation in a way that helps you improve your outlook on your life, become a more interesting person, get in better shape, and treat the world as a sandbox that you can explore, learn, and interact with. From here, you'll find much more fulfillment, and that fulfillment will be contagious, which ironically, in the long run, will help you find the person that you've been chasing the entire time. There's no point in trying to find someone else when you haven't even established who you even are. And I'm not saying that this is a one-stop solution to fix all problems in dating. There's a whole variety of other things that are problematic. But if you live a life that's authentic to yourself, you'll be a lot happier, which is a win, even if dating doesn't work out very well. If you want, I could share my thoughts on how you can actually meet people in dating, because that is a huge obstacle still. So let me know, and I'd love to share what I think and kind of what worked for me. If you do this, it's the first step of a journey that'll become the best journey of your life, and it's something that you won't regret doing. That's my talk for today. We'll talk again soon.